Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. The Rose Bowl Parade has been a New Year's Day tradition for 130 years, and the 2019 edition was extra special for Poppy Parsons.
Hey, it's day one. I just got in. It's Boxing Day. I'm at Fiesta Parade Floats. Got my red jacket, got my...
The Swift Current florist and owner of Smart Flowers traveled to California to volunteer as a designer on one of the many floats in the parade. Health regions across the country are reporting a steady flow of influenza cases over the past several months, with double the amount in Saskatchewan so far for the 2018-19 flu season.
But just think about the worst-case scenario. Oh, gee, if I get stuck there, what am I going to do?
Weather on the prairies can change quickly, especially this time of the year, and you're advised to be prepared before you head outdoors. Thanks for joining us here today. A Swift Current florist was one of 2 Canadians who volunteered at the 2019 Rose Bowl Parade. We have more in today's top story. The Rose Bowl Parade has been a New Year's Day tradition for 130 years, and the 2019 edition was extra special for Poppy Parsons.
Hey, it's day one. I just got in. It's Boxing Day. I'm at Fiesta Parade Floats. Got my red jacket, got my...
The Swift Current florist and owner of Smart Flowers traveled to California to volunteer as a designer on one of the many floats in the parade. As one of only 2 Canadians on the design team, Poppy says this once-in-a-lifetime experience came about from a mere conversation with one of her floral connections. And after a year of planning, she traveled to California on December 26th. And once there, Poppy joined her team of floral designers and other volunteers with Fiesta Parade floats to work on their individual entries, while following a specific theme.
It was the power of music. So the theme of the whole parade was the melody of life. And so really music was a real key factor. Of course, flowers are always #1 priority at the Rose Parade, and roses more than anything. But the theme this year being the melody of life, there was lots of music. And the city of Torrance, they actually had a contest on designing their float, and the name of the float came up to be the Power of Music. It was designed by a high school student, tweaked of course by the team at Fiesta Floats. Power of Music, so lots of musical instruments and beautiful flowers.
And out of the hundreds of floats in the Rose Bowl Parade, Poppy and her team were recognized for their efforts with the Volunteer Award. A memorable experience while building new friendships and connections in the floral industry.
We're so like-minded, right? We're all florists. For the floral team, we all understand each other and have a respect for what everybody does. You can learn and grow from everybody at every level. It was a powerful force, right? It was just so many people. There's probably 1,000 there every day, and you make connections with some of them, and it just was welcomed like family.
And now that Poppy is back in Swift Current, the memories of the 2019 Rose Bowl Parade are everlasting as she builds on that experience. Lifelong learning, which not only benefits Poppy personally, but also professionally.
You have to continually strive for more, find your passion. Swift Current is small, but it's beautiful. Do I have the opportunity to create grandiose, beautiful displays of flowers? No, probably not every day, but it's just as important to create the small ones. So it keeps my passion of it alive, gives me something to aspire to and plan, talk about, and you know, you just gather that following of people that get it, that understand how much I love what I do every day, and doing bigger and better and more and traveling just fuels the fire.
Poppy Parsons of Swift Current was one of 50 florists on the design team and the only Saskatchewan team member at the 2019 Rose Bowl Parade.
We would take a fundraiser that they do every year at the universities, and we'd extend it across a whole week here in Swift Current in our own community.
This is prime influenza season across the country, and health officials are reminding you that there's still time to get your flu shot. Health regions across the country are reporting a steady flow of influenza cases over the past several months, with double the amount in Saskatchewan so far for the 2018-19 flu season. According to health officials, flu season started earlier than normal, with H1N1 being the dominant strain affecting all age groups. And with several months of the flu season still remaining, there's still time to roll up your sleeve for the flu shot, if you haven't already done so.
Never say never. You don't know if you will or won't get the flu. So it's useful to protect yourself because, again, another misconception is that the flu is your everyday cold. The flu is quite different from the cold in that it's more serious, and even very healthy individuals who do get the flu find it quite hard on them, and you many a time will have to stay at home. Some cases do get hospitalized. So if you take the vaccine, that certainly helps prevent the seriousness of the influenza when you get it. The second thing and advantage is that by taking the vaccine, you're also less likely to carry much virus, and if you do get exposed and get the infection, you transmit less of it because you'll have a less severe infection. So you're also protecting others by not spreading the disease. So you help yourself and you help your community, your family, people around you at work. So it's good to take the vaccine.
Frequent hand washing and coughing into your sleeve are crucial in keeping the flu and other illnesses at bay, along with sanitizing hard surfaces such as countertops or door handles with a bleach solution or Lysol. And if you are sick, stay home and recuperate rather than spreading the flu to others.
I'm Robert Christie. I'm from Saskatoon. I'm represented by Art Placement in Saskatoon, and I do abstract painting. Some might actually call it construction. The inspiration comes from previous work, and I always have several on the go, maybe a dozen. And I have remnants, so one that I'm working on will give me an idea for the other, or a solution that I think will work on one doesn't, and I move it over. This one, for instance, is about a year in the making, but I'm not working on it daily, of course, but over that time period, it evolved, so to speak. I use veneers, 1/8 inch, and then some other plywood that's 1/4 inch. The other aspect of this one is that because it comes out probably an inch or so off the wall, and there's many layers overlapping. With this one, I backed in, or I covered the sides of the, or the edges, so that a lot of the overlapping underneath stuff is not exposed. And I tried to incorporate the, much as a sculptor would, I guess, I just sort of hid the underneath stuff. Educating the public about art, I guess for me, I have to say it's educating them about good art. I think the general public has a general idea about what art is, or what it's about, or what it's involved with, mainly because they don't have enough experience with it. Without a real deep sort of involvement and some sort of empathy, if you will, within that person, it's always just going to be a passing by, say, what are we going to do on Sunday? Well, once a year we might go to a gallery. Well, that's not going to educate them, and they're not going to expand their knowledge very much by just walking by and seeing these things.
You scroll the word art for sale.
So I think the public gallery and also the commercial galleries, they're talking to these people, hopefully, or they have people that will engage and try to discuss. Hopefully they really enjoy the art that they're putting up, and consequently they should be able to express that feeling to some extent to the individual who dared to actually say, can you tell me something about this? Many people are afraid, the naivety, if you will, or the unfamiliarity with the subject, keeps them from asking questions. The best thing is to go in, and if you don't get it, ask somebody.
Weather can change quickly throughout the winter season, and Environment Canada is reminding you to take precautions when heading outdoors. With several weeks of winter still remaining, many motorists may encounter adverse weather conditions along the way. Weather on the prairies can change quickly, especially this time of the year, and you're advised to be prepared before you head outdoors.
Clothing, it's the proper clothing to wear to make sure that you can withstand the conditions, not only where when you're leaving, but where you end up. It may have different weather there, or the weather en route, or if you're going to spend some time at another destination, and you've got to see the potential for nasty weather. And something as simple as just a little bit of a first aid kit in the car, a little bit blankets, or a little bit of water, some shovel, some practical, logical things that are so commonplace you wouldn't think of. But just think about the worst case scenario. Oh, gee, if I get stuck there, what am I going to do? And then also tell people where you're going. I mean, make sure that you don't leave home without advising somebody that, hey, I'm going to go there shopping, or I'm going to go there, or I'm going to take a day trip here or there.
You're also reminded to pay attention to weather forecasts and adhere to any warnings such as high wind chills or snowfall advisories for your area.
So it's a matter of not only leaving home with the weather word, but also updating them along the way and making sure that you know what's coming your way, and try to travel during the daylight hours. You don't want to have to travel at night. And again, it's often logic. It's often very inexpensive kind of decisions that make, but it also adds an enormous amount of safety to one's trip.
By taking a few simple precautions in advance, you can make the most of the winter season, whether enjoying the great outdoors or a trip down the highway. Well, this wraps up another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.